Hey, hey. Hi, guys. Welcome back. All right, so Geminis, here we go. Gems, we are moving right into our full moon. Oh my God, this card comes out like nonstop. But this full moon is pretty special because it's not only the harvest full moon, but it's also a super moon. It's our first three consecutive super moons, and it's going to be our biggest and brightest. It's a super moon because it's much closer to Earth than typical, so it's going to look larger and brighter. But that also means, symbolically that it has a bigger impact on things like deeper, buried, intuitive messages and subconscious messages that might be brought up to the surface. So that is the inspiration for this storytelling. One thing I also do want to mention is I figure I like this backdrop that we just got, so we got to use it a little bit more. So tomorrow, Monday, we will be going live on both channels, and I'll be doing some storytelling for members and subscribers. So make sure you're subscribed and that all your notification bells are on so you know when that happens throughout the day. All right, you guys. And if you didn't already know it, I do have another channel. It's Tarot Dog. I'll be doing it on both channels. So if you miss me on one, you have another chance on the other channel. So just bear that in mind, okay? So now let's get to this, shall we? So to start out with concealment. So the message that might be coming up because of this energy of the supermoon for Gemini is something that has been very, very deep, but it's something that is like maybe Gemini has been subconsciously trying to hide even from themselves. The Emperor loves Gemini. That's it. Like mic drop. We don't even need any more cards. Oh, Travis Rhodes. Hi, hon. I hope you have really sweet dreams. I'm delighted and honored that you popped in to say hi before you drift off. You guys are so awesome. Thanks for hanging with me. I wanted to make sure we got all the zodiacs done today, although I think Cancers will come out tomorrow, but all the other 12 zodiacs are today. So we have got, this Emperor, they could be an Aries, is in love with Gemini, and I think Gemini knows it, but either they haven't allowed themselves to admit it. Maybe, this could be like Gemini's like, my boss is in love with me, but I've been denying it. I've been hiding it. Maybe I'm in love with them too. The Lovers is a card of choice. It could be that Gemini is like, I haven't, admitted it out loud, but during this supermoon, look, I know what I know. Page of Pentacles. It's so interesting because not even any significant move has been made at all between these two. In this storyline, there's been no talk of love, or if these two started a relationship, they still hadn't talked about love, but it's there. But I feel like this is like the elephant in the room that hasn't been addressed. Hey, G. Ten of Swords. Is that because this relationship actually ended? Is that what this is about? And it's like, we never said, I love you. And yet, I know that we did. What's the Ten of Swords? I'm hearing Kate Bush. All the things we should have said that we never said, all the things we could have did, but we never did. This woman's work, or woman's worth, woman's work. Sorry, I have to sing a song for the lyrics to like come out of me. It's so much harder when you can hear the whole melody and you want to belt it out and the words are in your mind with the melody. But if you take the melody away from me and I'm supposed to just say it out loud, there's no tempo, there's no cadence to it. And it's so hard to speak lyrics for me anyway, because then I got to think about it instead of just sing it. With the Strength card, I feel like these two characters have acted like it's okay that this is over. And I think that that's not correct. And I think this is Gemini from deep within their subconscious. They're like, it's not true. It's not okay that this is over because they love me and I still love them. And although we didn't say those things, so this isn't about a new relationship. This is about, unless it's like the relationship that never got started. Say this is Gemini and their boss had this love story, but they never said anything about it. They didn't express it to each other. It was an unspoken thing. They were always polite. Now Gemini doesn't work there anymore, or the boss is retiring, or somebody's moving to a new department. And it's like, we never said anything, and we're supposed to act like it's just fine, but it's not just fine because it still exists. There's still a bond here, whether or not we ever said it was there. We never built the bond, but we also can't tear it down because it still exists. We just never acknowledged it. That's the way I would say that. Hi, Slave Princess. So good to see you, babe. Yeah, I didn't, Maxwell. He covered it, right? Maxwell I did an amazing job, but I think, wasn't it Kate Bush's song and then Maxwell covered it, or was that the reverse? Maxwell did great on that. Such perfect high notes on that song. Ace of Swords here. It's time for some truth. That's what I see. Yeah, I don't know if Gemini is gonna go a knocking on that person's door and be like, listen, you and me, we never said the words, but don't you think it's time we say the words? That's what this looks like. It's a time we say the words. Three of Cups. It's time we say the words naked. Sorry, I have to cover up this card because we got no clothes on our characters. And they're wearing sunglasses. I kind of think that for this fictional character, please remember these are fictional stories about fictional characters. I think that Gemini is in this head and heart space where they're feeling very bold. They're feeling very much like, why hide from the elephant in the room when it's so obvious, it's like palpable? And when I use the word naked, it could just be, like the term, somebody has a naked expression on their face. It just means they're not hiding anything. There's no guile there. There's no cloak. Well, we started out with the cloak, and now we're talking about not having a cloak anymore on these emotions and the feelings that have never been acted upon properly. I think there's so much more emotion between these two. Let's check, how is this full moon hitting the Emperor? Let's take a look. The universe in the reverse. So he's not done with Scorpio either, because this is the World card in the reverse. There's no endings and new beginnings. He can't even stop thinking about Scorpio. Sorry, Gemini. Sorry, I just did a Scorpio video. My apologies, Gemini. Two of Swords. But he also feels like he can't make a move. It's not over, but he doesn't know what to say. He doesn't know how to move forward. I can't reach out to Gemini. 10 of Cups. So instead he's got this like sketched out idea of everything that could have been but hasn't. I feel like this Emperor still says Gemini is my 10 of Cups, but I don't know how to say those words, but I also can't stop thinking that Gemini is my 10 of Cups. I keep feeling like this was the relationship that never blossomed or was never acted upon, and yet there was this huge amount of like love sitting there between two people. Oh, come on. You guys know I am cheering for this duo. What are you going to do, Emperor, during this full moon? If this is how it's impacting you, if this is what's coming up. Six of Swords in the reverse. He just says, well, I'm not moving on from my feelings for Gemini. I'm just kind of sitting here and like, I feel like it's a very uncomfortable full moon for him. Maybe because, keep in mind, if this super moon is bringing up things from the deep subconscious, his awareness is like, Gemini is my 10 of Cups, and there's not a damn thing I can do about it, and I can't stop thinking about them. They could have a particularly uncomfortable full moon for the next, 3 days of thoughts of, I don't know what to do about this. I can't move on. I don't know how to broach the subject. Why are you struggling to say something to Gemini if you know that Gemini is that important? We have Queen of Swords. We have Three of Coins. We have all these puzzle pieces that fit together, that work together, but you notice there's three hands, three puzzle pieces. I keep thinking that this is a work-related scenario, and that might be exactly it. It's like, well, if I'm going to say that to Gemini, I would still have to talk to HR, even if I'm in a different department now. I also don't know how Gemini feels about me. Not really. It just feels like there's so many moving parts to try to work out. And I don't know that they know how Gemini feels. Maybe Gemini was just as good as they were at keeping their emotions like, I'm going to be cold and impersonal or professional, warm but within professional boundaries, which means when it comes to love, it still comes across as cold. I almost think that these two had so many like boundaries between them being able to create a romance or being able to express how they really felt. And that's the part where she's still so uncomfortable. I don't know how to move on with this. I don't know how to proceed. I don't know what to do with these emotions. He is certainly more uncomfortable, whereas in this storyline, Gemini is much more like, okay, here's the bottom line. Bottom line is I feel an emotion toward him. He felt an emotion toward me. I know it. And I also know we didn't act upon it. But pretending that we're walking away from this when there's still somebody that is, I feel such a heavy bond with, there's just no way. We need to talk. I think Scorpio, sorry, Gemini is going to be the one who broaches this. Maybe they're a Scorpio since I just cannot get Scorpio out of my mouth right now. Maybe I know that Emperor should be more like an Aries, but um, it just feels like they've got to talk. But I think it's Gemini who's brave enough to say that we got to talk. That's all there is to it. Okay, so let me just ask, as far as this full moon goes, is Gemini like ready to kind of acknowledge this and do something about it? Then we have a King of Wands, we have a Six of Pentacles, we have a Seven of Wands, we have a Three of Swords, and we have a King of Pentacles. This person is going to have to totally like interact, and they have to interact in a way where they're at this equal level. There can't be the the conversation that maybe needs to happen has to happen like outside of their typical like work related environment, and it has to be where they're both just two people talking. If this was a work related scenario at first, they have to leave that out of the equation. Otherwise, we're going to be right back to the, well, we can't do anything about this because I was your boss, I am your boss. Like that's going to be there's too many obstacles and it's a bummer, but what are we supposed to do? We work together. And I kind of think that the only way to broach this subject is to broach the subject as like we're on equal footing. I'm not talking to you as the other relationship that we share, in a business or an office setting. Instead, we need to talk as human to human, which I mean, honestly, wouldn't all interactions be better if we always remember that we're humans first? Whatever uniforms we wear, whatever, like identity we are, supposedly representing, aren't we first human? And if we could always remember, I'm not talking to like a professional, I'm first talking to a person. And I think that most relationships or most interactions might go better if we remembered that first. Because I feel like Gemini is maybe going to be able to broach the subject and say, here's where the blockages have been. But in truth, there's more to it than that, because first and foremost, we're two people talking at a person to person level. I don't know. I don't know that. I think Gemini is definitely brave enough to advocate for how they feel, to speak in realistic terms, and to be able to put it in like, here's us as people, here's us as business individuals, and all the reasons why it wouldn't work. But you know what? We're not just business people, we're also people first. So I don't know. I could see Gemini broaching this subject as a very like down to earth, very upfront, very like complimentary and straightforward dialogue. Now, of course, this whole story could be flipped over, and it could be this individual wanting to have this conversation with Gemini. It could be that this entire story I've read in the reverse. And this could be they are the ones who are like, I'm in love with Gemini. There, that's how it is. I know it. And we've never talked about it. And it's time I say something. It's time I broach the subject. It could go that way too. But it just kind of it looks like this storyline could actually go well, but not without a little bit of let's get down to it. Let's just go ahead and say what needs to be said. We'll end with one message from the universe in regards to this. Universe, want to weigh in a little bit? We have got Knight of Pentacles, That's about going slow, but then at the same time, do you notice how this little dude is like being transported in this like it almost reminds me of like a Star Trek, the transporter. Let me get one more because it feels like even if these two start to have a dialogue somewhere around this full moon, it would still take more time for them to ease into this new like relationship or even discussing it being a relationship. I say that and then we get a Knight of Swords along with the Ten of Pentacles. It may be that Gemini is much more fearless and much more willing to put a foot on the gas pedal and not miss out on chances for great happiness. And they might be like, this has to go really slow. This whole storyline feels a little like we have to get beyond the concept that it's a taboo, that these characters are able to start developing like a different kind of a relationship, a romantic relationship together. It all just seems like this was like work related, or this is somebody like in their community, or this is somebody where it's like, oh, I used to patronize the restaurant that they own, but now I actually want to date them, and the owner of the restaurant's never going to ask me out, even though I know that they're interested and they know that I'm interested, and you know, I want to start dating them. Or this is two people that are about to become long distance, and it's like we were next door neighbors all this time. Now we're about to live further apart, but God, why didn't we ever try dating? Like whatever the scenario is, it just keeps feeling like there's this opportunity to realize what's been right there and not acted upon all this time. But it still says, look, the end result could be the same, whether these two move a little slow or whether they move slow and then pick up pace. But I will say that Gemini and this emperor do seem to have completely different perspectives. One is definitely more tentative than the other, and it seems like it's Gemini who's more confident than the emperor, which is interesting. RT, you're so sweet. Did you see that? You mean that? So I just did a Pisces video for tonight with this backdrop, and then last night I did a video for Pisces also. Are you saying that either you didn't see the one with this backdrop, or are you saying you like the one with this backdrop and you want an extension of that? Let me know so I know which side of it you're mentioning to me. You're so sweet, RT. I just want to make sure that if I'm going to try to squeeze it in, that I honor what it is that you're asking for. So that's why I was asking for clarity. All right, you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me in our Gemini video. And Gemini, I think I mentioned it, but if I didn't, know that tomorrow I will be going live, and we'll do some card pulls, some storytellings for subscribers and members. RT, okay, the new one with this backdrop. Let me think. That Pisces video was interesting, wasn't it? All kind of about like kind of like gifts and such that Pisces possesses that were coming more to the surface. Pisces was unlike anybody else's and nothing to do with love, if I remember correctly. So it was a little bit different. Queen of Swords, good to see you, babe. Slave Princess, I agree with you. They're both amazing. They're both absolutely amazing. I heard somebody else cover the song too, and it was a man, and oh, he hit the notes, the highs so sweet. It was just so beautiful. It wasn't Maxwell, it was somebody else. So, I mean, it seems like not many singers can take on that song, but gosh, when they do it, they really hit those notes. Beautiful. RT. Okay, good. I'm glad you enjoyed that one. So you wanted to have a bonus that is. Are you asking for a bonus so that's an extension of that, or for like just a different full moon message? Because I don't know. Let me see. Will I get to one tonight? I don't want to make a promise that I don't hold true with. I will try, but I'm just wondering which component are you hoping for? Is something totally separate or an extension or expansion of that? So, hi, Chrissy. Good to see you, babe. A continuation. Okay. All right, you guys, I will try. I'm not going to promise 100% just because I still have to do two other things tonight. So if I don't get to it tonight, I'll aim for it tomorrow. But I'm so glad you want one, sweetheart. Thank you for letting me know. All right, you guys, I'll do my best, though. Bye, everybody. Lots of love.